Welcome to the Hard Rock Show. I'm Andrew.
I'm Brendan.
I'm Tim.
Details, as always, are on the screen. If you're listening to this, then just hit the description because we have our details there ready for you to go and check out all of our social media. So follow us, subscribe to us wherever you can. And if you'd be so kind, please check out our Patreon page as well to give us some support via that platform if you can. We would really appreciate it. While we're speaking of support, a big thank you to our wonderful sponsors in Squidding, Screen Printing, Alt Cult, and Rockstar Finance. If nothing else, please follow them on socials or just give them a little bit of love for the support they give us here at the show. Coming up tonight on this little presentation, we've got 3 reviews coming your way. We've got Riff Raiders with Rock and Roll Daydream. That's a long overdue review from us. Blues, Pills, Holy Moly, and Havok with 5, which is another overdue release. And we'll have a hot topic, which we'll get to in just a second. But before we do, let's have a bit of a catch-up. How are we all doing? How are you going at that, Brendan? How have you been? It's been like a week since I've seen you both, I think. So, Brendan, how about you? How are you going?
Yeah, look, battling on. Enough to keep my mind busy at the moment. We've just got the masters back for the new album, which is a bit bloody exciting.
Yes. For you both?
Artwork in the mix, and it's just, it's getting to, if we could play stuff, we bloody well would. So, it's going to be itchy feet for a little while, but it's good. It's keeping me buoyant, shall we say. I'm buoyant at the moment.
How about you, Tim?
Feeling about the same.
Yeah.
Feeling good. Very, very, as I said, got Masters back for a new album and feeling pretty happy.
Beautiful.
Can't wait to show you all.
I can't wait to hear it properly, man. I can't. You guys got to fucking make sure I hear that before everyone else does.
I'm sure you will. Probably at the end of it.
No, you're going to have to wait until release day like everybody else.
Yeah, okay, fine. I'll just mute you both right now.
At the moment, it's slated for a fucking March or something.
Although that said, Jimmy's got his new album on the way very soon, and that'll be enough to turn some heads, I think. So
I've heard that.
Yes, so I. I'm looking forward to that one being dropped because I think that'll get a nice positive response.
It's a great album.
It is a great album. We'll keep our powder dry on that one for now until we actually get around to doing a review on it properly. All right, so we'll move in. Hey?
How you travelling?
Yeah, all right. I'll be better when my back settles down again. It has one of those flare-ups at the moment, which is making it lots of fun to get about and do things. But I've had a few days off of work, not because of that, because just work went quiet for a bit, and so it sort of balanced out nicely. So I've been sitting here doing a bunch of reviews and doing a bunch of editing, and there'll be a whole lot by now. It'll all be online, ready for public consumption. So I started that process today as we film this. So that's all going to be starting to drop out very, very soon. The idea being to get as much out as we can before April with the 10th anniversary of the show. So
sweet.
And I think scheduled to do an interview via Zoom with Jimmy tomorrow night as we do this as well, because he wants to interview me.
Oh, really? He's doing that? Cool.
He wants to do it. So he wants to sit down and have a chat with me and pick my brain a bit about, because the show's coming on 10 years, that's his premise for it. So, okay, cool. Here we go.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, he did do one way back in the day. So it's like he was there the second year of it all. He did one with us back then, and so now he wants to do it again.
It was funny when you had that episode when he was the Dead Star Renegade interview before he was on the show.
Yeah.
So because I'd never seen that original one, that was cool.
Okay.
That
yeah.
was kind of trippy.
Yeah, no, it's a bit of an interesting sort of how things have turned over the years with everyone coming in and out and all that sort of stuff. It's the same thing with you guys. You all saw a lot more of the show before you became a part of the show. So that's cool. It's always good. And as we do this one on Saturday night, Jimmy's actually filmed an intro for the Sonic Circus clip, the new one that's coming out on Friday, and we televised it on Saturday night, and he filmed a little intro to that, and there's a bit of fun with his little intro video there, so that's going to be cool to look forward to. You guys will watch that on Saturday, and the world will have already seen it by the time they see this.
Cool.
when you work in this space, you learn to think in different timelines, so it's all right. All right. We're all travelling good, so let's shift the mood into a bit of an interesting hot topic we've decided on the fly to go with, and that is, how do I title this one? I think local artists making an active political stance publicly known when it comes to the handling, in particular, of Victoria and COVID-19. It's an interesting one to go down the rabbit hole of, and we think that people may or may not want to hear what we have to say about it, so we'll just see how it plays out from here. But Brendan, over to you.
Yeah, this is a tricky one because it's obviously been discussed a lot online in the, particularly in the Melbourne music circles, and
Yep.
we won't beat around the bush too much, or at least I won't, because I think most people have seen our friend Delacoma Rio doing his thing, throwing himself in Albert Park Lake and getting arrested, and singing Farnsey songs at Chatty, and it's interesting because I mean I would never begrudge anyone their political views, and he's obviously trying to take a pretty libertarian approach, and that's cool. I can respect that. I think the behaviours is kind of absurd, and it's going to be interesting to see what it does for his career. I don't think it's particularly smart what he's doing. Frankly, I find it pretty cringe worthy. Every time I've seen him on there, in fact, every time I've had to admit to someone that I know that guy, now. How well Dell knows me is another story. He may not. We've met quite a few times. He's a lovely guy. There's nothing against him personally. He's been nothing but polite. I think his music's fantastic. I just find this particular stance a bit embarrassing and naive. It falls under a bit of that sort of, I think we discussed it off camera, but that term conspiritualist, someone that's willing to, disregard what they know to back up what they want to believe. And I think he kind of falls a bit into that category. And frankly, he's embarrassing himself, and hopefully he's not doing any damage to himself or the industry, although I fear he may be. I fear any time you make a stance where you put yourself offside with John Farnham, not going to look good. Don't fuck with Farnsey. That's all I would say.
If not Farnsey, then Glenn.
Exactly. So, but I find it, like I said, cringeworthy, I think is probably the best way I could put it. It really makes me squirm a bit. But, I mean, fair play to him to have his beliefs, but Jesus Christ, he's wearing it like a badge of honour, and I find that a little bit embarrassing.
All right. Cool. Timmy?
Yeah, I've been known to wear my political heart on my sleeve as well.
I think we all have our own way.
Yeah, I've never been arrested in the Yarra though.
Yeah.
I've done my share of protests. I've done the civil disobedience thing, but I've never been arrested in the Yarra. Let alone been arrested, in a protest with 200 people. Feels like a protest light at that point, but
it's a very strange hill to die on.
Yeah, I don't know. I said I really don't know Dell at all, to be honest. I think we're going to play a gig with him before this whole lockdown thing happened, but apart from that, that's about the extent I've known. So look, it all depends. I suppose we'll find out in the next 2 or 3 years whether or not this was all worth it, because even though I don't know Dell, I've known that a lot of people seem to like his music, and a lot of people would say he's a good singer, he's a good frontman, and he's obviously been able to carve out a career for himself in an industry where it's very difficult to carve out a career for yourself.
Yeah.
And like I said, we'll find out in a few years whether or not that career exists.
Well, I'm going to go there. I know Dell reasonably well. Interviewed him a few times. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm best mates or anything, but you hang around, you do the same circles for a number of years, and you've always had fun and catch up. And every time I've had anything to do with him, he's nothing but lovely, polite, giving, all those things. He's a great person to be around. I actually have a lot of fun with Dell. It's good company. And for the record here, I don't think this is just Dell either. I'll think about a few other ones too. But the way he's gone about it, when like that arrest in the Yarra thing or whatever it was, Albert Lake, was Albert Lake or the Yarra? I don't know.
Yeah.
When that happened, one of his bandmates from the NXS tribute band, which is the one that goes on international cruises and apparently makes some decent money, he's jumped on tour and gone, oh, fuck, that's my singer. So, imagine the conversation when they get back into the same room as each other, when they don't even know this much about each other in a band that goes on a cruise together kind of thing. So I don't know where that's going to land. Like, that's whatever.
Band dynamics are fun.
It's going to be if you could be a fly on the wall for that sort of a chat, it'd be very interesting to see how it plays out. You know, they might square up and okay, cool, whatever. And don't get me wrong, I'm not sitting here saying people shouldn't express their belief. That's fine.
Yeah.
I think my personal angle on that is that in the midst of a health crisis as opposed to a authoritarian crisis, I don't think we've hit that mark yet. Yes, there's been some overreach, and I'm not going to sit here and get too deep into it, but yeah, okay, fine. But generally speaking, when it takes a woman to come off maternity leave to vote something through, it's hard to have a dictatorship anyway. If you understand the political lay of the land in the state, let alone the country, what we were saying last time we were chatting, it's like being a dictator of a mayorship kind of a thing. So it's like it's a really silly argument to take. I understand all the fear about libertarianism, and I get all that sort of stuff, but at the same time, I don't think we're there yet. Which makes it even more frustrating for me as a person when I've got people I care about and people that are actually involved in the health sector that know a hell of a lot more about it than I will ever know about it, because I defer to their expertise as opposed to my absolutely no medical understanding apart from of what a first aid certificate gets me fucking qualified in what exactly to put a fucking band-aid on someone and send them off to the hospital. That's it. I know my limits. And that's where I think people have gone wrong on this one. Like, it's not just one, there's a few. There's I saw a thread online, which was Axel from a few bands over the years. He's now in a Motley Crue tribute band, I think it is. And in one thread, he was talking in terms of thinking he was, one, not only an epidemiologist, but also an oncologist. It's like, dude, you're a singer in a cover band. Like, you're neither of those two other professions. And this
Some
is
of the backup singers do dress up as nurses, so
yeah, but we can all play doctor nurses, can't we?
No, but it's the thing too. Like, not all opinions are equal.
No, that's it.
No,
and it's like so I'm not an epidemiologist either, but I'm listening to what they're saying.
We put people in positions of trust because they have a lot more knowledge than we do about those particular topics. We don't get those people to make TV shows. That's what we do. You know what I mean? So, not very well, but we do it. So, everyone has their little role to play amongst the overall arching thing. And that's why it's a society, not just an individual way of doing things. Everyone just does their own thing. We have to coexist. And I think that if nothing else, like I said, they're all lovely people in my dealings with them. But it does make me cringe big time. And it makes me wonder, because here's the thing. When you're in the entertainment industry, which we are, which they are, you have to read the room, which means not kowtowing and bowing down. You still got to do your own thing. But if you do your own thing to the point where it rubs the wider audience the wrong way, you're on a hiding to nothing. You've got to know where to draw your line. They're going.
Nobody that we're talking about is big enough to be able to create their own room.
Yeah, that's it.
For example, if just to throw a name out of the hat, if Metallica did the same thing, doesn't matter.
No,
Metallica could do whatever they want because they're big enough to create their own room, and their own sphere where what they do and what they can do doesn't matter. Whereas everybody else has to exist in an ecosystem where what you do and what you say does matter.
And that's the thing, and that's the reading of the room part. The ecosystem, how we all have to get along with each other, and it's even a case of the opportunities that could be lost because of the way people are conducting themselves in person, but also in the online world, is pretty big. I know that people that we have like Dennis and that love to rabbit on about all sorts of stuff, but I've unfollowed a great many people because I'm at a point where I'm consuming my own social media. I'm going, no, fuck this. I want to take back my experience on social media and not hear any of their shit because I have my ways of getting my information. I don't need to hear every person on Facebook pontificating every other day or multiple times a day about the same thing over and over again. And it's the same thing when it comes to these protests and whatever else have you. If you want to go and do your thing, go and do your thing. That's by all means your choice. But I think that for where it balances out is that when people like myself are going, okay, well, how high am I going to rank dealing with you versus dealing with someone else? And if it's a tie, things like this tip the balance against. So it's like if I've got two albums that are equally important, what's going to happen this week, and someone's done something that I personally disagree with, it's hard to ignore that bias. I try to, but I'm human. And so it doesn't, and then So it's very, very intriguing how it plays out. And then we've also got to take into account too, like you look at the numbers, you look at the approval ratings and all sort of stuff, and people are generally speaking, let's just get this on, get it over with, and knock it on the head. People that are sort of deliberately pushing back against that, if we as an entertainment entity of our own, my concern is, okay, how much airtime do we give those people that are being negative and pushing back against the whole thing, and how much damage does that in turn do to us with, you know, the creative field as well? Now, I know that everyone's different and stuff, but there's a lot of layers to this way of thinking, and it's not just about artists, but it's also about how people interact with these artists beyond this point as well.
The odd thing is, it's a bit of a double negative, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we want to get out. It's like, so do the rest of us. So
Yeah.
stay inside so we can all get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where it's sort of going to rub people the wrong way. I mean, it's a very simplistic approach, but that's why it's frustrating to see such a sort of selfish mentality.
If it was tens of thousands of people, I give it a lot more weight. When it's tens of people,
Yeah.
it's kind of meaningless. And I know no stance is meaningless. So that sounds harsh, but it just
No. Some stands are meaningless. At the end of the day, we're a state of 6 million people. When 200 people are protesting, it doesn't mean shit.
Yeah, this is true. And when
there's more people in the frozen food section than at your protest,
yeah,
not good.
And then, but at the same time, I hold the media to a lot of account in this regard too, because they keep televising and glorifying this sort of nonsense as well. So, you know, there's an angle in that to play out too.
Thankfully, they haven't got a weight of numbers behind it. Thankfully.
That's the thing. And it hasn't grown, which means at the same time that the majority of people are still sitting at home doing the right thing, quote unquote. Yeah. And so when it comes to, like, I've got family that are transporting COVID patients. For me, it's like if one of those dickheads spreads it to another 50 people at their little protest, and then they spread it out into the community, and we've got to go through all this again for another 6 months because those select group of 50-odd people couldn't fucking keep it in for 2 more weeks when the stats and the work shows that it's actually working, the numbers are coming down. We're at this point. Imagine now if they protest next weekend and it sparks off again, we're this far away from getting everything lifted. Imagine the backlash then. That's the edge you're playing with. I think that's very, very silly. I think that will not be forgotten because we said before we started filming, it's easy to be angry. It feels good to be angry. For a lot of people that are going to be recovering out of this, not only socially but economically for some time to come, there's a lot of that residual anger is going to hang around. They can point it at a target. If you make yourself that target, there's a lot of negative shit that can come your way through either direct action or a lack of action by ignoring you later on. So it is interesting.
It is.
Yeah.
Not terribly smart from my point of view. But I think we're in agreement. So I'm sure that other people out there will have a lot of things to say about that point of view as well. And by all means, everyone's got the right to reply. Have a crack at us if you like, or support us if you like. Either way, we're no different to anyone else at the end of the day. You're still dependent on your audience to give a fuck. Mm-hmm. And so that's what it comes down to. So interesting. I don't know if either of you got more to add on that one, or are we going to...
Yeah, I don't think we need to shovel more onto that. No.
See how that pans out. I'm expecting some interesting messages after this one gets released to the public. So I'll fill you in when I get those messages. Yes. Anyway, and that's nothing to do with actual. For the record, this is not talking about people that are criticising the government's performance. That's okay. It's the actual protesting nonsense that's going on at the moment. That's just silly. Let's move on to happy things. So I'm pretty sure this one will make us happy to change gear a bit next. Let's talk about Riff Raiders. Ooh. Everyone ready to go with that, Riff Raiders?
Yep. Is it
going to put everyone in a better mood now? Should. Yeah. Fucking hope so. Riff Raiders, Rock and Roll Daydream, 11 tracks, the 36 minutes, the second album the Australian band released March 2020 via Silver Sky Records. Produced by Marty Powell and Matt Robbins, recorded at Colour Sound Studios. This one comes after a substantial lineup change from the last album to this, and we're finally getting around to this one after we had the band on the show a while back to promote this album. They've done the singles and that, and we had them on the show and COVID fucked everything up, so now we're finally getting around to getting our logistics sorted out. We can do a review of this album. Tim, over to you.
All right, so I could give you a big spiel about stories of this band and playing with them and sort of watching them grow and improve. But the important thing is that when I first saw them, I thought they were really good, and then saw them again like 6 months later, and really kicked it up a notch, and all of a sudden there's this little bit of a buzz about them, and you can watch them play, and where you have those nights as a local band where you walk off stage, you feel like a rock star, and they do that pretty consistently. What I think is important with this album is, I think this is a separate entity from their live thing. I don't think they've to say they haven't captured what they sound like live on record is incorrect, because this is almost like a different animal, and I think they sound like a great studio band here. I think this is miles ahead of the first album. The songwriting's better. I think performance is better. Recording's better. Everything's better. Yeah. Matt Robbins did a great job. Vocals sound great. Guitar tones sound great. I think this is all around great rock and roll album. It's fantastic work.
Yep.
Yeah, so highlights for me are Loaded Gun, Best Day Ever, When I'm Dreaming, and one more that is down a bit further down on here, because we're professionals here. Standing on My Own.
Would you give it?
I'll give it 8.5 out of 10.
Beautiful. All right.
Yeah, because if you haven't heard this band before, if you like hard rock, you'll find something about them that you like.
Plenty of clips. Go and check them out on YouTube.
Yeah, anything from this album is fantastic.
Yep. Cool. Brendan?
They've done an amazing job with this album. I remember when we did the first album, I liked the songs, and I wasn't a huge fan of the way they were captured on the first album, and that's probably was more of a taste thing than anything else. Since then, I've seen them live a lot and played a few gigs with them, and they're great people living. But a lot of bands tend to suffer from the second album blues, and this one does the exact opposite. They've actually.
Well, has Di got the microphone going again?
Well, we need a bad edit here.
What was that, Tim?
You frozen?
We need an edit here.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, no.
So, all right. So Brendan's back after his, NBN brilliant hang up there. So what were you saying there, Brendan?
I was complaining about fibre to the node as a let's not go down that road.
No.
I think where we were going, I was saying on the first album was if I loved the songs on the first album, I was a bit annoyed with the way it was captured. It didn't really resonate with me. And then after that, got to see them live a lot of times, got to know them, play a few gigs with them. Phenomenal band, and I think this album is a huge step up from the first one. As much as I love the songs on that first album, I think the songs have gone up. It sounds so much better, and I think as a package, track order, everything is a really, really well-made album. And I love the way they're promoting it at the moment as well.
Yeah, it's very smart.
Particularly through, the COVID times, they're releasing videos and everything all the time. They're doing a great job. Well, this album is great. This is just a great classic Aussie rock album. If there's any Aussie rock that you're into, anything from AC/DC through to vinyls and everything in between, if you like anything there, you'll find something in this you'll enjoy. It's bloody phenomenal. I gave it 9 out of 10.
Cool.
Loaded Gun, Standing on My Own, and Shade, last track.
Yeah.
Really done.
Yeah, it's a great track.
It was awesome.
Yeah. Well, I really enjoyed their last album. So I was looking forward to this, and I've had a lot of time, obviously, sitting with it now. I've got a copy of the vinyl buried under here as well from when they came in. So thank you.
I think, hang on, I'll steer up there. Look.
Hey.
There.
You got it there. Hey.
There.
Twinsies. But yeah, so they came in, and obviously getting to know them over the years, they played gigs for us a whole lot and stuff as well before. Lovely people. But beyond that, great band, just a fantastic band. Live is fantastic. They're a lot of fun. So if you haven't seen them live, go and check them out. But if nothing else, get on this record today. It's always weird to say things like this, but sometimes change can be a good thing. I think the change that's happened within this band has been for the better overall. Whether it's that or it's just the time spent on refining these songs on this album, I don't know, but this is really sharp. It's just classic good time rock and roll. It's fun and serious, all done just the right way kind of thing. It's a short and sharp album at 36 minutes, whatever it is, and it's so easy to repeat spin. The diversity on display is very well done as well, and it all flows really nicely. It's essentially a rockin' album with awesome riffs, tasty solos, heartfelt ballads, bluesy numbers, and a couple of little surprises in there as well, which does shake it up, but it all fits nicely. I think the mix is fantastic. Hats have to go off to Colour Sound. Matt there is doing a great job now. That studio is turning out some great fucking work. So, yeah, really well done on the mix. I love how this one has just the right amount of dirt, smoke, and sizzle kind of thing, while at the same time capturing everything really nicely and beautifully. It balances out very well. When things open up, like the softer moments, there's some beautiful tones in there. So it's got that whole mix between being, gritty and dirty with the pub rock kind of thing and going right out to the, not glossy, but, just gloriously warm, captured, like the vintage tape to vinyl kind of setup with the classic mixes there. It's very well done. I think the songs are really well written and performed. I can't wait to see a lot more of these songs live. I love the lyrics. The storytelling is fantastic. Like Samantha Jones. Like, we all know the backstory of that one personally, but fuck, that's a great story in a song. And it's hard to pick standouts because every time you spin this, you're going to find something for a different mood. This is one of those albums where there's something there for absolutely everyone, depending on you, no matter what mood you're in, kind of thing too. There's little things on this that add up as well. There's like kids yelling at the end of one track. Marty takes over the lead from Jenny on one track. Even little instrumental moment, in the album as well. Like, there's so much little bits and pieces in there to really take in. And on that note, Jenny's voice is fantastic on this. The hooks are going to get stuck with you as well. Like melody and hooks for days all over this. This is, if that evil radio station that shall no longer be named on this programming here actually gave half of a shit about promoting local music, this album is perfect for that platform. It won't happen. We know it won't happen. It's a damn indictment on how little, no matter what they say, they care about local music, that this doesn't get a run. This is perfect for that market. And fuck, it's just me that the media will
nobody who listens to them would listen to this and hate it.
Exactly. This is perfect for that market. Perfect. But it'll never happen, and it's a shame that the media in this country will overlook it so readily when it's such a fine album. If you like rock at all, you've got to get onto this. There's a fair chance this will be in my top 10s coming up in December. And I'm not even close tired with this after sitting with it for so long too. It's so well done. And because I've been sitting with it for so long, I've listened to it so many times, I love this album from start to finish. 10 out of 10 from me. I reckon it's fantastic. I picked Stop Looking at Me, Loaded Gun, Shade, Standing on My Own as my real standouts, but you can list pretty much anything on this as you're going along, because depending on your mood, you're going to find something in there to really take your attention and your fancy. So we're off to a good start. Let's see if it continues. Blues Pills is up next with Holy Moly. Everyone's ready to go on that one, I hope. 11 tracks for 41 minutes. The third studio album from the Swedish band, released August 2020 by Nuclear Blast. It looks like this was actually self-produced in their own studio. And this comes after a last, which we have covered and enjoyed their previous work in the past. I know Dave in particular loves this band, so we'll see how this one goes with us here tonight. Brendan, over to you.
Never heard of them. Sort of read the bio before I listened, sort of, psychedelic, sludgy sort of thing. And I went, I normally like that kind of thing.
Yep.
I really fucking like this thing. This worked for me on so many levels. This was, I wouldn't call it sludgy at all. Psychedelic at times, but not to the point where it shits you. I find a lot of those psychedelic rock bands can sort of go too far to try and sound psychedelic that they forget about the songs. At no point does this band forget about the songs. The vocals are bloody phenomenal. Somewhere between Janis Joplin and Hart, I'm in a pretty bloody happy place.
Good company there.
Yeah, I had this just basically playing 3 or 4 times in a row and didn't get even remotely bored.
Okay.
It's not going to be for everyone. You have to like that kind of dirty, bluesy kind of thing. Like I said, it's like, I'm trying to think of an Australian band, even Stonefield sort of pushed.
Early Stonefield, maybe.
Yeah, but dare I say better?
I would on balance,
I would, as well.
Yeah, I reckon they've done a great job in this album. I just really enjoyed it. If you just like that bluesy rock thing that, it might not be the kind of thing that you're going to have front of mind, everything, but just something you can play, ways of having a beer, having a party, whatever kind of thing. It's just really, really good tunes. Made me happy, obviously. I gave it 9 out of 10 as well. Loved it. Low Road, Kiss My Past Goodbye, and Proud Woman. Great album. Loved it.
Nice. Cool. All right. Tim.
Recorded in their own studio.
I believe so. They went and built their own studio.
They're fucking dicks. The drum sound on this is fucking gorgeous.
Yeah, no, the drums were great.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
And like, as little nerdy shit too. Like, you could hear like as a drummer, like I could hear what type of stick he's hitting on that cymbal, and just like and just letting it just breathe out. It's so gorgeous. Absolutely, like gloriously captured. Vocals are just phenomenal. Everything's phenomenal. Again, the way I would describe this band is Gary Clark Jr. meets Jefferson Airplane.
Yeah.
I think to call it they are very much based in this blues psychedelic rock, but I think it's almost unfair to say that because they do play with. Because there's obviously psychedelic tracks on there, but when they get kicking, they do play with the ferocity of a hard rock band. They're not half-assing it.
Yeah.
You know, they're actually digging in, and the songwriting is phenomenal. Like they're just the way they play as a band is fantastic. And I think, as you said, not everyone's going to like this, but if you like this type of music and you haven't given this band a spin, then you know you're missing out, frankly, because they are fantastic at what they do.
Yep.
Again, I gave it 9 out of 10 as well.
Oh.
Proud Woman, Dreaming My Life Away, and Rhythm in the Blood were my highlights. But there's no down points in this album. It's phenomenal.
Wow. Okay. Well, I think Dave and I both really enjoyed their previous work, and this is a bit of a switch from before. This one's even more of a sort of a throwback kind of a sound, the mix, the style in particular. Very 70s vibe on this one for mine. There's fuzzy tones all over it. Things like the wah, the way where the wah pedal was used and captured on this really had the funk throwback to Hendrix kind of a thing going on there. The melodies, the recording tricks like the double tracking, all straight out of the vintage 70s where it was all done to tape and you had to get it right. Production was fucking A1. The vocals cut through and then pull back nice, so the push and pull element was really well used in this. Cool use of hard panning on the guitar tracks. It might get a bit fuzzy on the tones depending on your taste, but for me, this really worked because it was suitable for the style and it wasn't muddy. It was really well balanced. A lot of the ones push too hard in the overdrive and becomes a really muddy sound wall, especially in the mids. This one really separated out your frequencies very nicely. If you want to do this style of music, listen to this mix. Fantastic performances. No matter who you want to focus on, be it the drums, the guitar, the vocals, like you will hear everything going on in this, and that's really cool. For me, the standout element is Ellen's vocals. Her voice is fantastic, absolutely amazing. But around that, all the performances there and everything is serving the songs really nicely. It's all complimentary, that kind of stuff. There's little bits of Foley and touches, like a lot of attention to detail, and there's also that attack, that bit of attitude in this, which is very nice, especially in the lyrics. Some of the lyrical work on here where, just little snipey little remarks were very well just placed in just the right way. For me, I generally struggle with this genre a bit. It's not my go-to, but this one avoids the problems that I have with a lot of the other ones, where it is muddy or it's gone too far into the soundwalk. This is really, even if you like me and you struggle a bit with this sort of music, this is one to check out. And for me, I thought it was actually more enjoyable through my really good headphones. So if you're struggling to get into it, it's one of those ones where you stick the headphones and just sort of lock yourself down with this album, it's going to get your attention. There's lots to take in. There's bits of ear candy. It's really just pleasant to listen to and take in as an experience.
Another good beanbag album.
It is a very good
actually.
Yeah, it's perfect for that.
That's a compliment, by the way.
Yeah, and I agree with you. It's fantastic. But if you want to sit in a room and put an album with the headphones and just kick back, this is an album to do it with. Because it's got your solid rockers, but there are some sultry ballads, and the smoky tones on those ballads were fantastic. It does keep the gears changing really nicely throughout this. No matter what your mood is, there's something that's going to be here for everyone, much like there was with Riff Raiders. All that said, for me, the back third of this album dragged a little bit. It was too much of a slower ending. They could have broken up the last 3 to 4 tracks a bit better with the pacing of the songs. There was, a couple they could have pulled from earlier on and just sort of changed that track order up a little bit. It does make it feel longer than it is when you start breaking it down. And considering when you get up to that point, if they just changed that track order just a little bit, it would have made this an absolutely stunning release for me as opposed to a very, very, very good one. Like, it was just that point of difference there. But still, it's a very solid album. And even for me, like I said before, I tend to struggle with the style a little bit, but this one is still extremely pleasant to listen to. Well worth checking out, and I recommend it wholeheartedly. I gave it an 8 out of 10. Low Road, Rhythm in the Blood, and Kiss My Past Goodbye were my standouts for this one. So there we go. Everyone tracking? Got room in you for one more? Good to go? All right. I've got to find that bell tone for our main event of the evening with Havok. What are you looking for? That's pretty dead, but all right.
Timmy.
Because he's got the little mic going, it's not going to pick it up. Anyway, our main event of you got to plug in the MIDI for that to work. Our main event of the evening is Havok with 11 tracks for 45 minutes. The 5th studio album from the American band released May 2020 by Century Media. Produced by Mark Lewis. This is the band's first album with new bassist Brandon Bruce. So Brendan went first on the topic, so I think Tim will go first on this one. Go for it, Timmy.
Yeah, so this band came out with about a decade ago with Municipal Waste and Gamma Bomb and Evile and all those other throwback thrash bands at the time. And for mine, I think this band has always stood out as better than all of them, and I love this album because of it. I think it's a natural extension to everything else they've done. It's just a classic throwback thrash album with not really many soft points. And but what I like about this is they've sort of grown a little bit as songwriters. I think their use of subdivisions and time from the rhythm section really do take one riff and sort of play it, a few different ways to kind of draw everything together and build your songs up that way. I love the vocal delivery. Again, I think his tone is fantastic. But my only real gripe with this, I thought his vocals were probably a little too far back.
Okay. I thought that was a good trick.
Yeah, so again, this was just sort of like me listening to it in my car a few times. Yeah. But, again, it may sound different through headphones or whatever, but again, that's how I thought it. But yeah, the highlight for me on this is the rhythm section. Again, it's fantastic stuff. But again, if you're a thrash dude, there's really not. This album is not complicated.
No, not at all.
if you're into Municipal Waste and Testament and Slayer and Megadeth, then check this out.
Yep,
that's 9 out of 10. Because I thought it was awesome, and I think that stuff's pretty cool. Actually, the other thing is too the lyrics.
Yeah. Yes.
Wonderful lyrics. Definitely a pissed off dude with something to say, and fantastic.
Yep.
Post-truth era, Ritual of the Mind, and Interface with the Infinite were my highlights.
Nice.
9 out of 10.
I think lyrically, while it's in my head, lyrically, we had, I think it's Riley from Power Trip passed away, and he was pretty intelligent on lyrics. This is probably the one that can take the mantle a little bit.
Yeah.
Regard. But yeah, Brendan.
Yeah, as a sort of rusted on sort of thrash metal pig that I am, I've been told by many people I should listen to Havok, and to be honest, I never really have.
Neither had I.
I've been asking, but never really sat down and listened to an album. And I've now got 4 other albums that I have to go back and fucking listen to because this is fucking phenomenal. I loved this album, everything about it, the way it sounded, the way the songs were structured, the length of the song, the whole fucking composition, the whole thing. This just, if you were into that late 80s thrash metal, there is nothing on here that you won't like unless you're a fuckwit. This was just great. And particularly for me, it really gave me that, Peace Cells, So Far So Good, Rust in Peace, dare I say, era Megadeth.
Okay.
A lot of this. And even the way sort of vocals sit, like, Timmy said they were too far back, but that's kind of where they put Dave in those albums as well.
A high-pitched tone being back a little bit is actually a good trick for mine.
Yeah, because he's not what you'd call a phenomenal singer, but Yeah, his voice.
But he's a phenomenal thrash singer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
His voice
That's
is
the key.
in this style of music.
This is the side note. There's the opening track on the album "Time Is Up." It's called "Prepare for Attack." Yeah, that's homework for later. But you know when you listen to these thrash albums and it's like you need to hit that note. You're building to that high note. You got to hit it.
Yeah,
he hits it.
He does. It's great.
It's great.
This is a great thrash metal album. This is their 5th. I will be going to listen to their first 4. I had a fucking ball listening to this, and with fear of sounding a bit monotonous, 9 out of 10.
Yep.
For the 3rd time tonight. But who gives a shit? Because they're all been great albums.
Yeah.
The highlights for me were Fear Campaign, Interface with the Infinite, which was kind of like our Screaming Into the Void, but probably a better name. And Panpsychism as well. Yeah, great album. If you like thrash, get into it. It's great.
Well, we're on a roll because we've enjoyed all 3 releases tonight, which is probably the first time it's happened, I think. Usually we found one where we sort of disagreed across the
Shit Can album.
Yeah, we haven't got one this week. Maybe on Saturday when we get together in the next session, we'll find one there. But
Hanson again.
No, yeah. That was an interesting one, but this one, no, we're in agreement. This was fucking fantastic. I don't think we've ever covered this band on the show at all before.
Oh my God.
Oh, pipe down, Chachi. You weren't a part of the show for all those years, were you? So now we have you to thank for bringing this one to our attention some more. And yes, you're right. We should go and check the other fucking 4 albums out as well. Have to do that now. Yeah. If you like thrash, this is your fucking bag. This one has all the classic tricks. Use of acoustic stuff, the building opening, the different flavors, a little instrumental track. This follows the classic thrash album formula. Blistering riffs, got that harsh edge in the vocals, pounding rhythm section, plenty of intensity. Where this one really grabbed me was the groove and the rhythm. More on that later on. Some intense and sharp lyrics, fucking great lyrics on this. And the aggression is the order of the day on this, but they've got something to say and they're not backwards and coming forwards, and that I think is missing in a lot of metal bands today, and these guys carry that flame nicely. Mix is pretty bloody clear and punchy. You know, nothing is overcooked, which is a tendency with these sorts of ones. They try to push too hard, but they've actually left enough room for things to breathe, so you can hear absolutely everything. The bass, the drums, the guitars, they'll get their moments to shine as well. The solos are tasty. They cut through. I think the vocals being back a touch because it's such a higher tone to the vocal generally works better when they're mixed back a little bit because they're going to cut through anyway, especially with so much mid-range stuff going on.
The tone was stunning.
Yeah, and it's great. Like, all those tones combined work really well as a band. And the way this has been captured and mixed is fucking fantastic. So, what is it? Mark Lewis, well done. Nice performances, a very solid and tight band, which you needed to be for this, but fuck, it was good. If you love metal or just solid riffs, get onto this one. This one has, like I said before, nice lead work. If you like any of those things, you're going to find something to enjoy on this one. But again, when I go back to the groove and that sort of stuff, when they got the swing going, that was when it was like, oh, fuck yeah. Like, that was what hooked me. I'm a bigger fan of the groove and the swing element of things as opposed to just flat out banging. I like both, but if I'm going to go with one or the other, it's the groove and the swing side. And when this thing swings, fuck, it goes. I love how they just leant back and just let it open up at times. It was just a nice trick. It made it all breathe really well. The track order is fantastic. It's really well laid out. For me, it put me in mind of And Justice for All Metallica, just with the actual proper mix.
With bass, yeah.
Yeah, with the actual mix required for that. You know, you put this mix on Justice for All and you're kind of in the, you know, this is what you're going to get. I thought this was really well done. I thought the longer tracks at the end, there's 2 there, like 1 for 6, 1 for 8 minutes, and then there's a short, like 2.5 minute track in between. That was a really smart trick at the very end of the album as well. This is easy to put on repeat spin, and like Brendan, I've got 4 albums to go and check out as soon as I get time to. This is fantastic. 9 out of 10 from me. Ritual of the Mind, Interface with the Infinite, and Don't Do It were my standouts. So I think amongst us, we've really enjoyed Havok. So, yeah, we have Brendan, you and I have some catching up to do. Tim, you're all over.
Yeah, look, like I said before, like there was a period where throwback thrash was a thing, and you know, unfortunately, this band kind of got lost in the shuffle. Sure. As I said, I just rattled off, 4 or 5 bands. And there were more then, and especially at that time, Exodus were having a bit of a revival, and Slayer were having a revival. there was a Big Four thing happening at the same time. And it's like, it's really unfortunate because this band just kicks the shit out of a lot of bands and amazingly consistent. And and the shame is with this is probably not going to win them that many new fans apart from obviously you guys, because.
But anyone that listens to it will be impressed by it.
Exactly, because and the great thing is there is a Havok sense. It's a little bit like the Lamb of God albums where we're saying there is a Havok sound, but there is obvious evolution going on there. So big props to these guys because they're phenomenal songwriters.
Yeah, no, really well done. I'm glad we all enjoyed this one. I'm glad we all enjoyed tonight overall. Actually, it's gone pretty bloody well. It's probably a bit boring for the people consuming or watching or listening to us at the moment to hear us all, have a great big squirt fest over a bunch of great albums. But, then again...
Well, that's what the Hot Topic's for.
Well, yeah, that's the balance for the evening. No, this has been a really good night. I really enjoyed going through these albums as well, actually. So, no, it was a lot of fun. We'll see how we go with the next one around. Our next special episode for everyone wanting to pay attention is... we're going to go through a lot of Halloween for Halloween in October, which we haven't done before, and it's actually fitting because our televised broadcast will fall on Halloween night in Australia, so that's going to be pretty cool. But I think we're coming toward the end. We only do a few releases per little filming session at the moment, so we can keep things nice and relatively brief, especially for us while even the dogs get over it. Yes, Nala. I think we'll... is there anything else you guys want to add? We'll move on to the bin, or no? We'll move on to the bin. All right, beautiful. Let's go on to the bin before we wrap things up. Timmy, what are you putting in the bin for us this week?
Government corruption.
Yes. Yes.
I had a fun bin for today, but I couldn't ignore this one because this one's topical, and the fun one will always stay fun.
Yep.
But I mean, if you haven't followed along, basically they had tried to buy land. They've got to buy land to put the Parramatta Airport in, and they valued the land at $3 million. And the government decided, the people who owned the land were Liberal Party donors and already quite wealthy. So instead of paying $3 million, they paid $30 million.
As you do.
Yep.
And not only that, the $20 million from the communication department to Foxtel.
Rush through.
Meanwhile, here at Channel 31, we're struggling for a penny.
They don't get any support, and they're about to be cut off. I reckon June next year. I reckon we're off.
Oh, for sure. And we don't actually cost them anything.
Murdoch.
And unfortunately, we don't actually cost them anything. So,
Yes.
So those can all get in the bin.
Yep. Huzzah for media diversity in Australia. Doesn't exist. Anyway, Brendan.
Anyone who likes to argue with someone else's top whatever list. And it doesn't matter if it's someone putting out, the top 10 debut albums of all time, or, top 50 rock songs of all time, or dare I say, the All-Australian football team of the year. We all have opinions.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to practice shits and complain because your favourite player's not in there or your favourite band's not in there, you are a fuckstick. Make your own list.
Yeah.
And let people pick that to fucking shreds. That's what we do. I don't give a shit if people don't agree with my buddy top 10 list. Megadeth's Rust in Peace is the best album of all time. And if you don't agree, I think you're a fuckwit. But that's not the point.
Right back at you, fuckhead.
What I think doesn't really matter.
No one's opinion matters.
The people that incessantly argue about someone else's list, Rolling Stones magazine's 500 greatest albums of all time, and there's an album in there that you don't like. Who cares? So just read it with interest, digest it, have your opinion, but shut the fuck up.
Or at least get the balls up to create your own.
Yeah.
Do the work.
Yeah.
Don't just, complain on the sidelines and throw some stones across the room.
And it's not easy.
No. Well, every year,
5 albums of all time changes daily.
I spent the full 20 minutes on our top 10s last year.
But if you think about the work we go through to get to our top 10s, and that's why we've always done it as an individual list, not a collective thing, because it's so subjective, it's not funny.
Yeah. And we do it because it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, not to upset anyone. So
No.
just chill.
Unless you're watching a Hot Topic earlier on, that's meant to upset people, I'm sure. But
yeah, well, you know,
sometimes
we didn't make it our top dickhead protesters of the year.
No, let's not get any big ideas, Brendan. Well, back on to more serious things for mine, which is extremely pertinent and topical with everything going on in the world, and especially in Australia at the moment. The LNP, or Liberal National Party, for those that aren't watching or listening in Australia, with their monumental broadband NBN fuck. Right? If we'd have just done it, you know what? As Australian people, we've been better off voting Labor all these years because it would have been fucking cheaper and it would already be done to get the NBN rolled out fibre to the house as opposed to fibre to the node, then copper to the fucking house. It's costing us a fortune. It's taking fucking way too long. It's not finished yet. And now they're spending more money on the goddamn thing. It's blown out in every way possible because guess what? Liberals wanted to privatise and cut all the corners. Fuck that shit. Jesus Christ. It was way too important a thing to get wrong and they fucked it up and now they've got to fix it. And that's been really highlighted because we're all using Zoom and whatever else to do schooling and TV shows and everything else under the sun. That's like, oh, yeah, we kind of fucked this up, didn't we? No shit, Sherlock. Everyone was yelling at you to do this right the first time around. And you watch, it'll get hit with a wet fucking lettuce leaf by the media too.
And now 5G created coronavirus. That's the result.
Yes.
God damn 5G.
That's the thing, though. Even with the NBN, the 5G on my phone is still faster than this fucking shit.
It is.
Fucking nuts. Anyway, wow. Does my head in that we had a chance to do something really special and we fucking blew it. And that's just, you know, the nature of the non-forward thinking that goes on with the political leadership in this country across the board. Anywho. We've had fun today, haven't we? At least the albums were good. So
Today's a good day.
It is a good day. We get to vent. We get to listen to some good music. I had a lot of fun listening to these records, actually. I'm going to go back and listen to some more of these.
Ripper.
There's some top 10 contenders out of this pile for sure, I reckon. But I think that's it for now. Details are either on the screen or in the description, wherever you're consuming this. So make sure you're following us, subscribe to us, all that sort of stuff. And also, please check out our Patreon page. Support us via that. And also check out the rest of our social media as well. And while we're speaking of support, thank you to our wonderful, wonderful sponsors in Squidding, Screen Printing, Old Colt, and Rockstar Finance. Thank you. Please do check them out. Give them a follow. If nothing else, no time is a tough moment. So just give them a follow. It doesn't cost you a thing, but it shows them a bit of love for the love they give to us here.
Can I squeeze another one in?
Yeah, you. Oh, yes, you did. Sorry,
yes. Because they've been great supporters of the show. And
they have.
Supporters of a lot of bands, not just my band, but a whole lot of love.
Yes.
Get on them. So they're battling like everyone else at the moment. So they're running this really awesome sort of VIP member thing. So you buy, I think it's $100. You get this card, which gets you drink deals in the future. You get a $50 drink card for when they reopen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a little sort of pendant thing. But yeah, Sasha and Dylan have been fantastic supporters of this show.
Fantastic people to boot.
Yeah, and just wonderful. So they've tried lots of things during this whole period. They've tried sort of running as a bottle shop. They've tried delivering fresh veggies to people's houses, all kinds of things. So, you know, and
they're not complaining either.
Don't forget local businesses. Like, don't go to BWS if you've got a Sellers down the road. You know, don't don't go to Coles if you've got a local grocer and stuff. Just do the right thing, help everyone out, because everyone's going to need a leg up. So myself included. You got a pool shop in Caulfield? Come see me.
Well, plug your business while you're at it, Brendan.
Yeah, Bay City Pool Service in Glen Huntley Road, Caulfield. So if you're in that area and you need something for your pool, come see me.
May as well, all right. No, but yeah, second that. Whole lot of love. Fantastic. So yeah, they've been a great support to us over the years. We loved our monthly events down there. They were always really supportive of everything we ever did there. So look forward to getting back there as soon as we possibly can, and all this sort of shit backs off, which hopefully, with everything going the way it is, won't be too far away.
Let's hope.
Let's hope. But until next time, it's been an absolute blast. Thank you both of you for taking the time out to do another one with me here tonight. And I'm sure we'll catch up and do it all again very, very soon. And to all of you out there watching or listening, thank you for spending the time with us. Hopefully we've entertained you as much as it entertains us to do this stupid shit. So here we go. But we're back again very soon. Until then, I'm Andrew.
I'm Brendan.
I'm Tim.
Until next time.
Drink up.
Rock on.
Oh, yeah. lot of bands tend to suffer from the second album blues, and this one does the exact opposite. They've actually...
Well, has Di got the microphone going again?
Well, we need a bad edit here.
What was that, Tim?
You frozen?
We need an edit here.
Yeah, maybe.
No.
We've got audio sort of coming through, but you're chopping up a lot.
Man, hang on. We seem to be back. Are we back?
Well, I saw something then. You're moving a little bit. No, you've almost dropped out completely. For someone who lives in Richmond, do you think your connection would be better than mine out here in fucking Mill Park?
Yeah, man, I'm in Carrum Downs.
You reckon, will you? You reckon?
Oh, there we go.
You're coming back now.
Everyone seems to be moving again now. Oh, hang on. No, Andrew's frozen again.
I'm moving back and forth. Let's just do it. Let's make him seasick, Tim. Make him seasick. Yeah.
No. Are we starting again? What are we doing?
You can come in again with your part, and I'll do a bad cut there because you dropped out. So, you there?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
cool. So,
I'm here. You guys there?
Cool. Yeah, we're all there. All right. I reckon we'll come back in the bounce now. So, all right. So Brendan's back after his, NBN brilliant hang up there. So what were you saying there, Brendan?